Star Wars, best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, a UK-based Star Wars podcast with in-depth discussions and analysis sprinkled with some silliness, not going to lie, sometimes a lot of silliness. And we are back with a very special episode today. We are talking about a sneak preview of an event coming on Saturday, the 3rd of August. It is Dorchester Strikes Back. It's in Brewery Square, which is, of course, the home to the Jedi Archives UK store. It's running 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. and I've got the head honchos of the event here with us. First of all, I'll introduce Ben from Jedi Archives UK store. Ben, how are you?
All good, all good. I will be on Saturday morning when we're, finished, ready to go.
The stress will be gone and it'll be time to just enjoy it and run the show.
Yeah, geared up and just have a bit of fun with it.
And of course, the other half of the awesome team bringing us Dorchester Strikes Back is our very own Jason Hondo Ling. Jason, how are you doing?
Pete, all good here.
Excited?
Yeah, a little bit excited, a little bit apprehensive, but no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I just want to dive in talking about sort of the origins of the event. So, obviously, it's taking place in Brewery Square, which is the home of the Jedi Archives UK store. So, I suppose, then I know that Jedi Archives have ran some events in the store before, including lightsaber building, which we did an awesome episode on. Sort of, what's your thoughts about taking it to the next level and sort of running this full Star Wars day?
Yeah, I suppose it was born out of one just because we're lucky enough to have the space here to do something, and obviously it's outdoors, so it is weather dependent, which is the only thing. And the one thing you can probably always count on is the great British weather to mess up your plans. But where we've got a nice open space to do it all in, we've got loads of stuff here anyway. So you've got loads in terms of like food, drink, stuff to do. So it's quite a nice little area anyway. So we've got the space, and we enjoy doing events because we're fans. We just like this stuff. We love this stuff. We live and breathe it. So if we can create more fun for people in different ways and find other ways of getting people to enjoy Star Wars in whatever degree it is they want to do, then we're kind of all for it. And Jason and I started talking about, sort of different things a little while back and what we might be able to do and what would be possible. And also the fact that geographically it makes sense that most of the big events happen in Birmingham and London and so on, because it's they're close to the middle of the country, all that sort of stuff. But you live in the south, there's not a huge amount of stuff around. There's Comic-Cons and things like that, but there's nothing generally that's all just about Star Wars. So we kind of got talking and thought, well, we could do that. We like doing events. And I suppose that was really the start of it.
Jason, let's go for you. Obviously, we talk Star Wars every week pretty much, so I know how much you love it. Sort of, obviously, how excited were you to get the conversations going with Ben about bringing this Star Wars experience to the people of Dorchester?
Yeah, something that obviously I've always wanted to see happen. As well as doing this, I'm involved with the Jedi News website, and I've worked with them on a couple of events. And the first one that really introduced me to it all was an event up in Himley. And it was just literally thrown together within a few days by Steve, the literary editor of Jedi News. And we just did a whole event of 2 days. We had a guy who Lego kindly donated a Y-Wing. We built it. We did a bit of a presentation with some guys from the UK Garrison and the Rebel Legion, and we just basically entertained the crowds with the guys in their costumes, and it was a really fun charity fundraising day that just happened out of nowhere. And it was talking to Ben, and I thought, do you know what, we could do something down here. You've got the venue of Brewery Square, which is a really nice open area, and it's got everything around it for people that are interested in Star Wars, and just families coming to enjoy the day. So obviously, when I was talking to Ben, and I know a lot of the guys over the years from the different costuming groups, I said, if we put it out, we do it for charity, we talk to the guys, we say, we want to get you here. And for me, it's getting the characters there for people to experience exactly what I've experienced in other places in the country. And we've been lucky, some of the groups have struggled to get people, others have managed to get people for us. And I think everyone will be, really pleased with what they get to see on the day. And as well as that, obviously, we want people to turn up in their own costumes, which, this is by no means just for the costuming groups. And I think Ben and I are both hearing from different people that Brewery Square on Saturday is going to be full of different Star Wars characters.
I think there's something quite sort of, I suppose there's an element of magic to it, and everyone will get something different from these kind of events depending on their ages. And we're nowhere near Star Wars Celebration level, but if you go to Star Wars Celebration, obviously they've got a ton of stuff going on. But if you just go and just think about like the cosplay elements, you've got different costuming groups, and there's something really cool about seeing these characters, interacting with them, and everything from sort of young kids who believe that is the real Vader. There's something absolutely magical about that. And then you'll kind of get the sort of teens where it's just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was fun. I remember that from this and so on. And then you get to adults and someone like me who's kind of goes, that costume is incredible. How on earth have you made that? What have you done there? And there's kind of different levels of intrigue and fascination and enjoyment for like a range of fans, depending on kind of what they're interested in and their ages. So hopefully that's what we were able to give people. It's just that an experience nowhere near, some of these big events, but just, something close to replicating some of that magic. That's the only word I can think of to do it. But some of the groups we've got coming along put, a huge amount of effort into recreating these characters, and it's just, from my point of view, awe-inspiring in terms of the detail they go to and the effort that goes into it, and the fact that they are all willing to take part as well. So again, if we can try and recreate even a fraction of that experience for people locally who didn't get the opportunity or don't get the opportunity to go to places that are a little bit further away, that's a win in my book.
Definitely, I think for me it comes down to two things. Cosplay, I think, like in costuming groups, I think, number one is someone going to one of these events who can see the costumes and see the people who are in cosplay. Like, that's obviously wonderful for, like, as you said, kids who are small, who don't know if it's the real Vader or a cosplay Vader, or those who are older who just know what a stormtrooper looks like and get excited when they see one down the street, across the other side of the square.
I'm also in that group.
And then you've got the other side of the group, which is obviously, as you said before, a lot of events taking place sort of in the Midlands, in the capital. As someone, me being up here in Newcastle, there's not a lot of events up here either. Same down your way in Dorset, it seems like. I think in Dorchester, everyone have this event where not just people can come and see cosplayers, but also it's somewhere for people who have a costume, who have a cosplay, have an opportunity to wear it and to get it out there in the world as well, which I think's really, really beneficial. So, I mean, again, cosplayers, we want you. So, if you're in the Dorchester area, get yourselves to Brewery Square on Saturday, 3rd of August, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Any Star Wars costume across all of the wonderful stories would be very much welcome. And obviously, apart from individuals, we've also got some of the costuming groups going. So, Jason, am I right in saying that the UK Garrison, the 501st Legion, and the Mandalorian Mercs will be in attendance?
Yep, that's right. The UK Garrison and Mando Mercs in particular have pulled out the stops this time. They've managed to get us some guys. I'm not allowed to divulge what characters we will have on the day. We've been asked to keep that secret. But I can promise we got a nice little mix. Also, hopefully the Mando Mercs will have their gel cell there, which will be great fun for the kids and adults to have their photo taken being rounded up by the Mando Mercs bounty hunters. And I know that'll be a lot of fun. The guys will be there just enjoying everything about, just showing kids, adults, everyone, the sort of fun that can be had. And also, if you get chance to be there, don't, have a look at these costumes and look at the work and the craftsmanship that goes into them, because it will amaze you. So I'm really pleased. Obviously, Ben and I have already discussed, we don't want this to be a one shot. So if we can get as much support as we can, we'd like to make this a regular thing and build on it and, bring more people into it and make it bigger and better every year as it goes on.
I think that's that's the dream, isn't it? That it goes that it goes well enough, but more importantly that people enjoy it and the feedback's good, and that people go, do you know what, I had a great day today, whether I was a cosplayer, whether I brought my kids, whether I came by myself, whatever it is, that people enjoyed it. And then it's almost like getting the first one done is the hardest part. And I think we're really lucky to have had some of the guests and attendees that we've got coming, because it's a brand new thing. No one knows about it. It's starting from fresh, and that's a challenge, because once you recognise, it's hopefully it's an easier job. We'll find out if we do it next year. We'll find out then if it's easy or not. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think we're really lucky to have the people that have agreed to come along. I'm really, really grateful.
And let's dive into the schedule of what people can expect. So at 10 a.m. In Brewery Square, we have the opening troupe. So do you want to run us through that, Ben, of what people can expect from the opening troupe at 10 a.m.?
Yeah, so we'll see the character. Again, we've not announced any of the characters yet, but this is where you'll see certain characters come in, maybe to certain instantly recognisable music, that kind of thing, and you'll see a full march in of these different characters ready for the day, which will be quite a sight in itself.
I think for me, what's exciting is that when you think about the popularity of the Mandalorians, based on we're already popular, but off the back of the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and the Mandalorian film that's coming, obviously the Mandalorian Mercs, they dress as a Mandalorian, so we don't know which Mandalorians we're getting, but there's probably going to be some Mandalorians, which is going to be awesome to see troop and also to get pictures with, which I think will be absolutely wonderful. Just off the top of your head,
also I think with the Mandalorians, you get such a diverse mix as well, and that's what makes them quite a cool and intriguing group to go and look at, is because of the amount of diversity and that the sort of like the different things that people do. You've got slightly more freedom there if you're producing a Mandalorian costume versus, say, a Stormtrooper. You kind of, it is what it is, and there's obviously a few different variations of them, but you know, you don't get huge amounts of colour and variations on the uniforms and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, Mandalorian can be, you know, incredibly diverse.
Quick question for both of you. We'll go to Jason first of us. What's the one costume that you've seen or haven't seen yet, but you would love to see sort of out there at an event or at a convention that you would love to see someone cosplay as or have seen?
It's one I've seen it, and it's one that I'd love to do myself, and it's got to be Hondo. I saw a couple of really good ones at Celebration, and it's a slightly different costume because to get it right, you've got to get the right mask and everything. Obviously, it's being done now with the Galaxy Edge experience because you've got the robotic Hondo. So Hondo has been done in live action to a certain degree. So yeah, that's the one. If we had a Hondo turn up, I would be in my element.
And Ben, for you, which is the best one you've seen or the costume you would love to see at like any event or convention in the future?
Bo-Katan, just all the Bo-Katans.
Jess will be happy.
Slightly obsessed. I don't know. I still think like Vader is just so iconic. And there's something. We were lucky enough to have someone here for our opening event as Vader, and there's just something so menacing, and you know, he's instantly recognizable. And it's obviously, you know, it's quite a popular one. But there's, I don't know, there's just something so cool about seeing him in the flesh. So that's one that I always look forward to. And then, you know, privately, just Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I think I remember being sort of at Disneyland Paris when I was about 3 or 4, and sort of coming off Star Tours. It's probably a bit older now, actually, about 5 or 6. And then like Darth Vader walking past, and obviously like hiding behind my dad's legs. My mum tells the story fantastically, so you know that sort of the power of cosplay and costume is certainly one to behold, especially with those with great imaginations. Moving on from the opening troop, which is at 10 a.m, we have the competition starting at 10:30. Do you want to run us through the competitions, Ben, and what people can expect?
Yeah, so they're going to be. This is where we want to have as much fun with it as possible. So they're not going to be anything too serious. We won't sort of go through all of them now. We want to keep it a bit of a surprise for the day. But things like best impressions, that kind of stuff. So just a lot of stuff with people that are in the square, in the audience, if you like. Just getting people involved, being a bit silly with it. Got some cool prizes to give out, all that kind of stuff. So really just to get people involved, have a bit of fun, keep it light, and yeah, just especially for some of the kids. I say kids and big kids who will no doubt want to get involved. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff like that.
And then at 11 a.m, we have a very special guest. I've seen this person. I think the first time I seen him was at Star Wars Celebration Orlando. Was the first time I met Jez Allinson, who is of course the running stormtrooper, who essentially ran marathons and runs in full stormtrooper getup to raise money for charity. I know, obviously, someone who you look up to quite a lot, Jason. I don't know if you talk us through what Jez Allinson means to you and what people can expect when we get the running stormtrooper at 11 a.m.
Yeah, Jez is a really inspirational character, and I'm looking forward to getting up on the stage with him and just chatting and explaining to people, you know, exactly what he's about, what he's done, and what he's achieved, because it is an amazing story. And it, you know, I'd heard of Jez so much over the years on media. You know, whenever he was running a marathon, you'd see it on the BBC News and that. And then to get up to Celebration last year and literally just bump into him and started chatting. It was really cool. I did a few photographs for Jedi News of Jez, and then it was at the Farthest From in Fordingbridge, which is a local Star Wars sort of fun day stroke, almost like a toy fair that happens. Normally, I think it's December time, and Jez was there again. But this time it was because I then learned that Jez is also a podcaster, bit like ourselves, and so we had that shared interest in that, and we got chatting and that, and friends on Facebook. And when we were coming up with this event, we wanted someone to come along that we could talk to on stage. There could be someone for the crowd to get to know at the same time on the day. And obviously, you sort of dream of getting the likes of Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and all that. And it was just really left field that I thought, wow, actually, Jez would be really cool to get there as our sort of guest for the day to talk to people. Because a lot of people will have seen him on the news and that, but not known the full story and not known what he's done over the years. So this is going to be an opportunity to get Jez on the stage. He no longer dons the armour, I should say. He's retired from being the running stormtrooper, but he's going to bring it along. So the armour will be there with the medals, so everyone will be able to see it. And obviously, yeah, I'm looking forward to interviewing Jez and really delving into what made him do everything he's done, how it's changed his life, and the things that have happened over the years that he's been doing it. And I know from talking to him in preparation for the weekend, there's so much, that in itself to come along and sit and listen to Jez and what he's done. That's an event in itself. So I really am looking forward to delving into that. And for the people that will be there, and obviously the aim is to record it so we'll be able to put it out as a podcast as well, so that we can share part of the day with those that can't be there with us.
Having just tried on my my outfit for the day, in not that cold a room, that was hot enough, and all I did was put it on. How on earth you? I mean, I've not tried to run a marathon, and it's unlikely that I will. But how on earth you put all of that on and then go and run that distance is just a mixture between bravery and, I don't know, sheer madness. I don't know. That is just an incredible feat.
It certainly is. And I don't know how many miles he's run and all that record will be somewhere, but it was I said I remember seeing him at Star Wars Celebration Orlando, which would have been around 2017-18, I think. I think he's only just retired recently, hasn't he, Jason? So he's been running, and he's been running longer than that. So he's certainly put some miles in for charity in that, in the awesome costume, but also probably the most horrific thing you can run in. But now I want to talk to you about your Stormtrooper costume, because I've seen this come across social media sort of over the weekend, I think. Just how excited are you to have a Stormtrooper costume, and what was the process of getting it, and how excited are you to wear it?
Well, the process, I feel a bit like I cheated, but I would have to give a big shout out to Rob at Chef's Creations. So if anyone is after one, these guys make just unbelievably cool stuff. So I feel a little bit like I cheated because I got someone else to do it for me. Obviously not for free. That would have been even better. But it was... the Scout Trooper has been probably my favourite trooper. Well, since seeing Return of the Jedi for the first time in whenever that was, many moons ago. And I thought the Scout Trooper was probably the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And then obviously the iconic speeder bike chase through the forest, all that kind of stuff. So I always loved it. got the Hot Toys version of it on the speeder bike, which sits, we've got that on display here, and that looks amazing. And I've got, all these other versions of the Scout Trooper around. And so when we're sort of planning it, it had been on the list for a while. And obviously, being a Star Wars retailer, it's a legitimate business expense to have that. So we absolutely need it for the business. And so when the event was coming up, we were like, oh, okay, that would be really cool. And then I remember going to Star Wars Celebration, seeing some guys and girls dressed up as Scout Troopers there, and I was just incredibly jealous. So I then started looking around at kind of, okay, well, how does one do this? And we've got 3D printers here, but I wanted something that looked like the original, and you don't really get that without having the sort of vacuum formed plastic. And then after a few evenings of googling, came across Chef's Creations, and just the pictures looked amazing, the stuff looked awesome. So I reached out to Rob and sent in. I don't think I've ever measured myself quite to that level of detail, but it's all made to measure, and it fits just, almost like it was made to measure. And it's just the quality of it is incredible. So really, really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be, I don't know, a little bit like a boyhood sort of fantasy, if you like, to replicate some of what. Unfortunately, I haven't got a speeder bike to scream around town on, which would be both incredible and dangerous, especially because the on-screen life of a Scout Trooper seems quite short. I almost thought when they reappeared in The Mandalorian that they might last a bit longer, but they don't.
Short and sweet.
It is, yeah. But it's going to be amazing. It's really cool kit. Really lucky to have been able to get it made, and I've been doing the sort of finishing touches to it, if you like. So just putting it together, getting the straps on, doing a little bit of weathering on it, and that kind of stuff, which has been a bit of a rush to get it all in amongst the actual event, and the day-to-day sort of like running of the business as well. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to have it on. I am still on the lookout for a deactivated MG34 to be able to use as the DLT-19, but they are elusive and quite expensive. So I'll probably not have the rifle this time, just the pistol.
Not this time, but it's good to know you've got something to chase, something to hunt, which we all love as collectors. So,
Jason, when you were down, I think I was talking about maybe doing like Rick, the door technician from Fallen Order, which I think is one of the coolest video game bosses I've ever seen.
It certainly is.
Yes.
It certainly is. Obviously, you are not a child, Ben, so you will not be able to enter the best costume for kids at midday. But just talk us through how that's going to be judged at 12 midday for the best costumes in the kids division.
Yeah, so I mean, we're hoping that. We already know that just from some of the communication we've had from people that we should have a ton of people getting dressed up in varying degrees, and we know from some of our regulars anyway that they've got their own costumes, and it will be a chance for them to get judged by the costuming groups. So hopefully that will be really good fun and a nice little accolade for people as well if they've been voted best by Mandalorians or some of the members of the 501st. So it should be a good bit of fun, and hopefully we'll just have a ton of costumes to choose from as well.
That sounds fantastic. And then, Jason, at 2 p.m, we then have a chat with the Mando Mercs. Do you want to talk us through how excited you are to be in the driving seat for some awesome Star Wars conversations?
Yeah, the aim is I'm going to drag Simon and Wayne, two of the guys from the Mando Mercs, who Simon in particular was one of the first guys that introduced me to the Mando Mercs. We've become friends over the years, always get a nice big bear hug when we meet at events. And the Mando Mercs, for me, they really are a good bunch of guys. I was down covering a Comic-Con for Jedi News when I first met them. And I'll be honest, it wasn't a great Comic-Con, and there wasn't a lot there. So I spent most of the day literally chatting with the guys, and by the end of it, they were like trying to recruit me. And I have got a helmet that I do need to finish, and I do need to build my own armor. So maybe that's my challenge for next year's event. But I'm really looking forward to getting the guys up on stage, talking. The two of them both are really big Star Wars fans, but I also want to really delve into where the Mandalorian Mercs come from, explore, and explain to people, because it is one of the newer. Well, it's not one of the newer groups, but because of the Mandalorian, it's obviously one of the more recognisable groups now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to really introducing that to the people of Dorset, and who knows, maybe by the end of it we might have a load of Mandalorians marching around, you know, in Dorset alone. But it's getting these guys up there is the main thing, and listening to their stories. They're going to have some really interesting little anecdotes. They've attended premieres. They've got to dress up and do really special events. So it'll be a chance to really find out, what they're all about.
It certainly will. And then after that, at 3 p.m, Ben, I assume that you could enter because you're an adult, but maybe can't because it's your friend. But obviously,
Yeah,
the best
it feels
possible
oddly self-serving to enter your own competition, so I probably won't enter. And also, I mean, the costume's good, but whether I do it justice is a different story. So I'm going to let other people take it on. I know we've got a load of people coming. I think just thinking about some of the people that have got in touch. I think we've got someone coming as a dark trooper, which would be awesome. I can't wait to see a dark trooper in the flesh. And whether it'd be interesting to see what version it is. Whether it's which one's the one that appears in the Mandalorian? What is that? Is that technically the Mark III Dark Trooper? I can't remember.
I think so. That sounds right.
So it'll be interesting whether they come as a 1, 2, or a 3. We've obviously got some Mandalorians. We know we've got some Jedi. I think naturally there's going to be some Sith loitering around in the background, causing mayhem, that kind of stuff. So it'll be really a really sort of cool variation of stuff to see. But again, similar to the kids one, we're going to get the costuming groups to vote for it, and see what they think is the best costume. So again, like another nice little accolade, particularly because we know that there are people out there who maybe aren't currently part of any sort of like official groups. So it'll be a nice bit of recognition. And the other thing as well, we kind of touched on it earlier, we're really big on the community side of it, and having somewhere where like-minded people can meet others, and get chatting and get involved in all that kind of thing. And this will be one of the first sort of things locally where if you are a cosplayer, maybe going solo for a lot of stuff, not necessarily just Han, that you'll have the opportunity here now to talk to guys and girls who have been doing it for a long time at a really, really high level, and that I think that'll be really cool as well.
Definitely, for me, I think I'll be looking for the more obscure and harder to pull off costumes. So like a Jar Jar Binks or a Gungan. I think it's a funny
awesome.
costume to look at, but it's pretty cool. Or for me, imagine a one man or probably maybe a 2-man get up, Jabba the Hutt.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. A two-person Jabba would be, again, if it's a hot day, I'd hate to be in there, but it would be awesome to see.
No, it certainly would be. And I suppose the hottest one's probably going to be Chewbacca's or Wookiees. If there's any Wookiees there. Because if I'm right in thinking, I believe we're looking at, and I'm touching wood and got the fingers crossed, and I'm praying to all of the gods. That obviously, hopefully, be good weather for Brewery Square. I think at the minute we were chatting about saying it's going to be mid-20s. Is that right?
No, I think it's going to be It's going to be late teens. So hopefully, none of us will be sweating too much. But I think that as long as it's not raining, we're all good. Touch wood, cross your fingers, cross your toes. We've got some contingencies if it does, so it's not the end of the world if it does rain. But so far, we're praying, sacrificing all that kind of stuff to the rain gods that they just hold off.
Yeah.
At least if it rains, maybe some really tall guests will turn up, and they'll be from Camino.
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah.
I know we've got some clones coming along, so it feels maybe it's not the end of the world, And actually, in the right light, the square could almost pass for Camino. If it was quite grey, it could almost, from an angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fountain's
definitely.
on.
Yeah, tell the council.
Yeah, we won't turn the fountains on during the day.
No, we'll probably leave those off. No. As cool as it would be. I mean, what a Vader and an Obi-Wan face off in the fountains.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Or you could set the fountains up as the Death Star trash compactor.
Oh,
Just thoughts of the future, Get the council on board with that one.
Yeah, I like it.
And then
hey, what would you go as? What would you do?
Me?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I've never cosplayed because I just think about how much time and effort goes into either making the costumes or finding and dealing with the people who can make them for you, if that makes sense. So I've never really thought about it much, but I think I would stay away from like a character, if that makes sense. And I'd probably want to be my own like smuggler, swindler, like galactic pilot, and then create my own identity off the back of that, if that makes sense. So like you're probably talking like a Han Solo style, shirt, a flight jacket, sort of maybe similar to Han's or cross between Han's and Poe Dameron's, I suppose. Obviously everyone wants to wear an awesome belt buckle. So yeah, I think I would go down that route to be sort of a galactic pilot who you'd meet in a bar if you're looking for transport somewhere, shall we say. And then second choice, I would like to be a Jedi, but like style my tunic myself and like build that backstory up and create my own lightsaber hilt and all that jazz, if that makes sense.
If only you knew somewhere that did some sort of lightsaber construction.
Well, indeed. Indeed.
A shameless plug.
Yes, I mean, we'll get to that after we finish off talking about the schedule, because it's going to be really good to talk about sort of what else is sort of going on, at the Jedi Archives UK store. So we'll definitely dive into that. But obviously, last thing on the schedule is at 4 p.m. So it's sort of the closing ceremony and raffle draw for the day. So just talk us through, Ben, what people can expect from the closing of the show and the final raffle draw.
Yeah, so it's worth sort of like reminding that the day is all about raising money for charity. We've got two really cool ones. We've got the MS Society, and we've got the Children's Services at the local hospital, part of the local sort of hospital group, I think you'd call it. Both of which do really cool work. So the raffle proceeds will all be going towards them. We've got some wicked prizes. We've got books, toys, collectibles, and of course we've got some lightsabers up for grabs as well. So it'll be a chance for people to pick up some awesome stuff, and all for a couple of really good causes. In terms of the closeout, we've got a few bits. We'll probably keep them quiet at the moment, but I don't know, like a New Hope medal ceremony. Who knows? So yeah, that will sum up the day for us. And again, we've got a few bits there to finalise. And again, we'll keep it fairly close to our chest at the moment. But it'll be a good opportunity just to round off, hopefully, what is an awesome day. So yeah, we will see.
Definitely. And then you have to tell me if I'm not allowed to talk about this or not, but obviously I hear Star Wars events, and what goes sort of perfect synergy with Star Wars events is, of course, patches to celebrate that event. Am I right in thinking that there will be patches to celebrate Dorchester Strikes Back 2024?
We do. We have some limited numbers on event patches. So we've got some that will be given out throughout the day for different bits, and then we've got some that you'll be able to buy. So we've got a really really cool trooper design for the sort of main patch, and we'll be giving a fair chunk of that to charity as well. So every patch that you do pick up, you'll be doing a little bit good with it as well, and then hopefully you'll be getting something unique. It's the inaugural event, so the first of the DSB patches, as I've decided to call them, and then we've got some exclusive ones as well for different bits. So yeah, who doesn't want a patch?
I think everybody loves patches. I think if you love Star Wars, you love patches. I'm in the middle trying to find a jacket to put all my patches on that I've picked over the past few years, to finally start wearing them. But my wife seems to think that me buying a jacket and then putting patches on it will then mean me wearing the jacket. And I don't think she really wants to have to explain why her husband has a jacket full of patches from Star Wars events at friends' gatherings, shall we say.
No explanation necessary.
Yes, but I'm going to get that jacket. I'm looking for it. So there we go.
I
But
was going to say the other thing we've got that that's going to be a lot of fun is we've got a local bar coming down called Dark Bear, and they're setting up shop at the Seventh Seal, and they are going to be making bantha milk mocktails, which is just a really cool little touch.
Ooh, delicious.
Yeah.
That
Grab your
sounds
patches, grab your bantha milk mocktails, chat to some troopers and some Mandalorians. What more can you want as a Star Wars fan?
Let's just dissect. So, there's going to be exclusive patches, right? Which is fantastic. You're going to be able to get some fantastic mocktail blue bantha milk. You're going to be able to either wear a costume or just enjoy everyone being in a Star Wars costume. Enter some raffles, enter some competitions. You're going to get to see some awesome interviews with, some awesome people from the Star Wars costume community. On top of all that, obviously, the Jedi Archives UK store is there, so I imagine people can definitely do some shopping. What's some of sort of the main lines of Star Wars products that are available in the store for people to pick up?
Yeah, so we've got a few bits that are in just for the event. So there'll be a few new bits that we're getting in that will be a surprise for the day. We have had a fairly considerable restock of sabers, which have been really popular, and we'll be doing an offer on the sabers for the day as well. So you'll be able to grab your lightsaber, live out your Jedi and or Sith fantasies, and save a bit of money as well. So that'll be good fun. We've also worked with a couple of manufacturers and distributors on getting some extra stuff in that we'll be able to do some great prices on as well. So just a mix of stuff there, a mix of offers on stuff that's already here, and some new products as well that will be coming in just for the weekend. We also are going to be running some sort of how to play events as well. So for things like Star Wars Unlimited, new card game, and some of the Star Wars tabletop games, we're going to be running some drop-in sessions where you'll just be able to see how different stuff is played. So again, just a day filled with a huge variety of Star Wars stuff, whether you want to just come along, whether you are desperate to, like I said, live out your Jedi and Sith fantasies, or whether you just want to hang out. Do you know what I mean? It's hopefully there's something for everyone, no matter what you want to get from the day.
It certainly sounds like it. If it was me, I would definitely be scouring the racks to see if there was any cool Star Wars Black Series, and I would definitely be not stealing. And I said stealing there. I'm not.
Yeah, please don't do that.
I would definitely be looking to. I've heard there's been some theft actually, so we shouldn't be joking that. A slip of the mind.
Well, yeah, there was, but we did catch them.
Exactly, that's what it's all about.
And we've got Mandalorians here, so we wouldn't even need to wait that long for the bounty to be collected. They'll just do it there and then.
But Star Wars Unlimited, obviously you mentioned this, the new card game that's obviously taken the country by a bit of a storm. I think maybe you could say maybe the supply hasn't been quite there for the demand across the country. The cards are going like hotcakes, and certainly up here in Newcastle, when shops do get them in, they tend to not last for long on the shelves, and that's from major retailers like Waterstones, Forbidden Planet, to then some of the smaller retailers retailers up here. So obviously you said there's going to be some taster sessions, which is obviously fantastic. Do you guys run like certain nights of Star Wars Unlimited down at Jedi Archives UK store?
Yeah, so we've got a sort of pretty regular and a decent sized player base for Unlimited. So you'll see a lot of it being played on Wednesday and Thursday evenings, and it's a great game. I'm not a big card game player, never really have been, but I'm properly hooked on this, and it's a huge amount of fun. And it's tricky with supply because it's a tough balance, I guess, for manufacturers in terms of you make a new product and you've got no idea how well it's going to do, and so I get that side of it from a customer and from a retailer perspective. It can be quite frustrating. I think we for set one. We had a pretty decent amount come in, but it was just really popular from day one. So when set 2 came out, we probably quadrupled the amount of stuff we ordered for this one, and it was still not enough. And unfortunately, we didn't get everything we ordered because the manufacturers have to, kind of split everything as evenly as they can do. We were lucky. I know there were some places that got little or nothing. So that is a challenge. And it'd be great if we had more, but I don't know. I suppose that's a nice problem to have, if that makes sense.
I think definitely.
For the game designers, if they literally can't get stock out there quick enough in big enough numbers because it's so popular, then it's not a bad outcome. And actually, it means that if you do want to get into it, that the game is going to be supported for a long time. So it's not going to be a flash in the pan. They've got the first 7 sets have been confirmed and are in various stages of production. So the game's going to be around for a long time. And in theory, I think by the time we get to set 3 and 4, that's when they'll be able to up the production numbers so that the availability will be a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I think there's been a lot of attempts to get sort of Star Wars card games off the ground, and they've, for whatever reason, whether the product hasn't been good or just people haven't bought into it, like they haven't really lasted too long. But this really seems to be a buzz amongst the Star Wars community and the trading card game community as well. So I think it's a very exciting time, and the fact the product is flying off the shelves, I think it's a good problem to have. It's not because of distribution problems really, and it's not because of anything else. It's the product that's been distributed out has all gone, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they've hit the spot in terms of if you're into collecting it, the cards look amazing. Like the artwork is really good, and obviously running a shop and a business that caters for collectors, you would be right in assuming that I also have the collecting addiction. So that aspect of the game is really, really, really satisfying. Again, like the artwork, just fantastic. But then in terms of playability, it's not an overly complex game either, so you can get your head around it within a couple of games. Jason, you came along to the pre-release, having not played, I think, a single game, and obviously it's quite a steep learning curve. But I think by game 2, 3, and 4, you were kind of fairly into the swing of it.
Yeah, I think so. I was starting to get. I definitely felt like I was getting more competitive by the last game that I played, and yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm hooked. Sadly, you're not close. You're not that close to me that I can make it every week. So, but I've recently found out that there's actually a group near me that does playing up here. So I'm going to be looking at joining that, and then obviously making sure I'm on the mail call for when you get your next lot of stock in.
Yeah, nice. Just if you got local, that's amazing, mate. If you can be playing regularly, you'll have a ton of fun with it.
Yeah.
Just standing on the table shouting, "I have the high ground." You know, that's when you know it's gone that's when you know it's too competitive.
There was a few that I thought could get that way when I was down with you guys.
Joe, we're really lucky that we've got a really sort of like chilled out group of people that play stuff here.
Yeah.
Yes, there's always a competitive element to it, but generally everyone plays for fun. Everyone has a really good time with it, and almost sort of like the outcome is less important.
Yeah.
It's just the sort of getting involved, and again, just sort of like socialising with people that are into the same stuff as you. We can all nerd out together, and drool over different cards and all that kind of stuff. And we're really lucky to have just a nice community in that sense.
I have to admit that's one of the things that draws me to the shop every time is that nearly every visit I've had down there, I've ended up talking to a complete stranger about Star Wars. And, we've got into conversations and we've talked about what we've collected, where we've been, and all of that. And, you get so many people. And, the funniest thing is, obviously, Ben opened up the shop down there, and obviously, I found it. But one of my cousins who knows what a big Star Wars fan I was happened to be in Brewery Square walking by. He goes, "Oh, there's a Star Wars shop." And he walked in. He said to his girlfriend, I want to go and have a look at this so I can tell my cousin about it. And as he walked through the door, he said, "Well, it's typical, isn't it?" And there I was already in the shop. So it's become quite a focal point, and more people every time you're down there walk by and suddenly think, "Oh, Star Wars, let's go and have a look." And they're always welcomed by whoever happens to be in there. So it is the community feel that you get there, and that's what I'm hoping on Saturday. People that may not have yet found the store are going to come down because there's an event and are suddenly going to realise actually there's a really good Star Wars community feel here. And then hopefully we'll be able to run with that even further over the time.
Yeah, we got some cool plans for DSP 2, whatever that looks like. But yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I've already.
It seems
got
a bit early
guest.
It seems a bit early to sort of start talking about the next one, but you do naturally start thinking about it. And I spoke to a couple of manufacturers recently who sadly can't make it this time round, but are really up for it for next year if we can run it again. So it means that touch wood next year gets even better, which is something quite exciting to look forward to.
Definitely.
No, it certainly is. Jason, any sort of last thoughts about how excited you are for Dorchester Strikes Back, and any last messages about the event you want to give out?
For me, it's a dream come true. Obviously, I'm going to be there flying the Star Wars banner and representing this podcast. I'm looking forward to doing the on-stage presenting. As you probably all guessed by now, I like a good chat. So I'm looking forward to really, not only when I'm on stage meeting the people, but you will see me wandering around Brewery Square and I will just come and chat to you. I'm going to be out of I'm not going to be in costume, but I am going to be wearing some of my Roosevelt collection of shirts. So you will spot me straight off. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to meeting new people as well as, seeing the people that I've made friends with over the years. And for me, I just want people to come along and really enjoy the event and, get as much out of it as we can. And I know, there's a lot gone into it. Ben in particular, and the store have put in a lot of effort to make sure that we've got a good day. And we've got all the guys coming from, some of them are travelling quite distances to be there. So I'm hoping that we can get
Oh, looks
lots
like
of
we've
support. And as
maybe
we
lost
say, we're
Jason there.
hoping
Good old
that
technical
maybe
difficulties.
next year,
Um,
if it all
There must
goes
be a
well, we could
blockade.
be coming back bigger,
Communication's been blocked.
stronger, and it could be
well, you know,
Dorchester Strikes Back
communications
again.
disruption can mean only one thing:
That's
invasion.
true.
So invasion's coming, and it's coming to Brewery Square. Get ready on Saturday. Jason, you back? Can you hear us?
Yeah, did you lose me?
It looks like your connection went off. Yeah,
Oh, no.
that's all right. We'll go to you, Ben. Obviously, any closing thoughts about the event and what it means for you and how excited you are for it?
I think, like, it's kind of we've said it all already, but for me, it's about we can do some good for these charities, and we can do it just by having a ton of fun and something we're all into, Star Wars. So just come along, get involved, meet people, get go out and just chat to some other Star Wars fans, get involved in some of the stuff that's going on, get involved in the competitions. If you've come along dressed up, amazing. Like come and chat to us. Come and meet the other people that have done the same thing, and just it'll be a cracking event for lots of people that are into the same stuff. So yeah, come down, have fun, and everyone will have a great day.
Indeed. So DSB, Dorchester Strikes Back. It is this Saturday, the 3rd of August, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at Brewery Square in Dorchester. Again, the schedule, we've got an opening troop at 10 a.m., competition starting at 10:30. We've got the running stormtrooper being interviewed by Jason at 11. We've got the best costume in the kids division at midday. 2 p.m. we've got a chat with the Mando Mercs with Jason. And then at 3 p.m. we've got the best costume in the adults division. Ben is disqualified, as he said. Disqualified himself already, even though he's got an awesome, sweet trooper uniform there. And then at 4 p.m. we've got the raffle draw and the closing ceremonies. Basically, yep, turn up, meet and get pics with the 501st UK Garrison. Get up close with the Mandalorians. Dress up yourself. Pick up a few bargains in store. Enter a few raffles. Raise some money for charity. Geek out over Star Wars, which is what we all love. And have an absolute great time. Obviously, Jason, I speak to Star Wars to you every week. Ben, we haven't chatted Star Wars in a while. Obviously, it sounds like you're into the Star Wars Unlimited card game, which is fantastic. What's been some of the best pulls you've pulled so far?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I'm a big Bo-Katan fan. So getting just a Bo-Katan was good. I did manage to grab one of the showcase Bo-Katans from one of our regulars. It was quite a tough negotiation, but we did get there in the end. So the showcase Bo-Katan I've got is just incredible. What's some of the cool stuff that's been pulled? A really nice. It's not actually in one of my decks, but it's Boba Fett's armor in the hyperspace variation. So it's like a full width print with a foil effect, and
Nice.
it just looks epic. And it's not gone into the deck, but it's just in my folder. It just looks amazing. And there's some incredible sort of, again, I suppose when I get stuff out of the packs, it's firstly for how cool it looks. Secondly, it's then trying to complete the base set, and then thirdly, it's whether it's useful in the deck. So there's a huge amount of stuff in there. There's an upgrade card called the Dark Saber, which it both looks amazing and is just a really, really strong card to play. So I'm lucky enough to pull.
I've pulled that as a foil card, I think.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card. It looks amazing. Like the artwork's
nice.
just incredible. And then, you stick that upgrade onto a Mandalorian, and all of a sudden they are just tearing through stuff. So yeah, no, the Bo-Katan deck that I've built has been a ton of fun to play with. So I've really, really enjoyed that one so far.
Did you watch Star Wars The Acolyte, and what were your thoughts on that?
I did. I didn't watch it until probably 4 episodes were out, and by that point, obviously there was a ton of stuff out there in the interwebs about it, good and bad. And so I kind of went in with quite low expectations because it had been receiving so much negative press, and I think partly because I thought it was all right anyway, but also I went in with really low expectations. I was like, oh, well, this is all right. It's I, I quite enjoyed it. It's not award winning. It's not my favourite by any stretch, but it was all right. It was all right. I was a little bit confused, I suppose, as to why it was getting so much hate. But then I'm not. I think we might have touched on this before, but I've been through my sort of like critical film stage where I was like, right, unless it gets 4 stars, I'm not going to watch it. Whereas now I'm just going to sit back, turn my brain off for a bit and enjoy it. So there's very few films that I won't sit through, or series that I won't sit through, because I've got to the point where I'm just sort of like, there's bigger things to worry about in the world than what's going on in this thing. So no, it was okay. It was okay. It's not, like I said, it's not perfect, and there's bits that I'm like, yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it was all right. It was okay. It was Star Wars content, and there were some really cool bits.
What was some of the cool bits for you?
Soul, Jedi Master Soul, I just thought was all round really good, really well played, really cool character, really interesting to watch through the series. I really enjoyed the bad guy, and I'm trying to pronounce his name. Is it Kamir?
Kamir the Stranger.
That's it. I really enjoyed him. I thought he was quite cool. And then when you get to, was it episode 5 where he just tears through the Jedi?
That's pretty intense, yeah.
I was not expecting that at all. I thought, okay, we'll probably lose a couple, and then it'll end up in a stalemate, and he'll go off to his corner, and then the Jedi will go back to their corner, and all of a sudden he's just eating through them, and just in a really savage way. Is it Yord who he sort of like twists his head, snaps his neck?
Yep.
I was like, okay, cool. That was not expecting that. And then is it Jackie?
Yeah.
The young man. I quite liked her as a character, and then she just gets triple stabbed. So again, I was just sort of like, okay, wow, that was quite something. So yeah, that episode was I really enjoyed that. I was quite surprised that it went to sort of like that level of brutality almost, because it was quite sort of like, oh, all right, cool, this is where we're at. I see, this is where we're going with it. What else was there? The lightsaber bleeding, I actually thought was all right. I quite liked that.
It's quite a powerful scene, wasn't it? Very emotive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was like, okay, that's cool. That makes sense. I quite like that. And it was like it was a bit of a first, wasn't it? I think it's the first time, certainly on screen, you've seen that happen.
That's right.
So that's quite interesting. They've talked about it before, and I think the idea in the lore is that I don't think there are any Sith crystals out there that they all start off as, in inverted commas, light side crystals, and then they are corrupted, for want of a better term. So I that kind of worked for me. I was okay with that. And obviously the Plagueis cameo, which I actually missed first time round. I must have looked away for a second, because I remember getting to the end of the episode and seeing the Yoda cameo, and I was like, okay, that was cool. That was a nice little touch. And I thought, well, hold on, everyone's been banging on about Plagueis appearing, and when did that happen? So I had to go rewind it and go back and see it. So that was cool. Interesting to see what they do with it. It's nice getting some, like Plagueis out in the, real world, if you like, and seeing what they might do with that. So yeah, it was, like I said, it's not perfect. I'm sure there's loads of stuff that you could go through and change, but it was all right. It was okay. I enjoyed it.
And obviously, you're a big collector, as we've hinted at, and obviously the fact that you have your own store to help fellow collectors. Is there anything that's been announced, or anything that you're excited to either add to your collection or to be able to get in stock to help other people add to theirs that's coming up?
What have we got? I mean, there's so much stuff all the time. It's both a great thing and a terrible thing. If you're trying to save money, it's a terrible thing, because there's always new stuff coming out. There's some really cool Hot Toys stuff on the horizon. Also, we've just had in the last week received the Vader Deluxe Vaders from the Kenobi series, which looks amazing. That's such a cool figure. They've just announced the an even more battle damage version where you've got like the exposed robotic limbs. So that looks awesome. And then at one of the trade shows or one of the shows, they've teased a new Chewbacca Clone Trooper hard case. And a couple of others. There's also General Grievous. So there's some really, really cool stuff in the pipeline there. And then they've got the vintage collection releases as well. So I think we put a post out the other day with some of the vintage collection stuff that's been announced, which again, a lot of that looks really cool. The vintage collection's come an awful long way. So they've got some great figures coming out for the vintage collection as well.
I'm trying to not spend as much, but I have got like, before I went on my holidays, one of the shops that I shop at did have some of the Shadows of the Galaxy Unlimited Star Wars Unlimited booster packs. So I picked up 5 of those, which I haven't opened yet, so I'm excited to open them at some point.
Nice. Good luck.
And then, so we'll see what we pull when I open those up. And then, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I've heard that they've just released sort of Black Series Ahsoka from Paradia from the last episode of the Ahsoka series. So
yeah,
I'll probably jump.
She looks good. Yeah, I think they've done a really good job with that one.
So I wanna jump on and get that pre-ordered when I can. And I'm waiting for them to announce. Which I haven't announced yet, but obviously Kamiya the Stranger. Don't think he's been announced as a Black Series yet, but when they do, I'll be certainly pulling the trigger on that. I think hopefully won't be too long.
I think the Black Series went through. I think it was around COVID time. It went through a couple of dodgy batches with QC issues and stuff. But actually, largely since then, the stuff they've been putting out is really good. And particularly some of the stuff from the Ahsoka series. I remember the Hera figure when that arrived. I thought, oh, that's really good. You know, for a a relatively mass-produced figure. I thought that the detail was really good. I thought it looked really, really cool. There's some awesome stuff coming out. So there are plenty of ways to help relieve you of your hard-earned pounds coming up.
It's one of those things, isn't it? I think like
we've got something we're working on, which would be quite cool. We may, in the next few months, have a range of custom helmets coming in.
Oh wow, that'll be awesome.
Oh.
So we're working on that now, but that will be. They look. The quality is going to be good. It's going to be really good, and for custom figures and custom helmets and that sort of thing that aren't sort of like less run of the mill stuff. They're going to be really, really reasonably priced as well. So we're just, it's going to take us a couple of months, but that is, well, you guys will be the first. You're the first ones to know about it, really, outside of the archives. So
exciting times.
Yeah, that will be exciting. We've got some just initial pictures, and we've got a couple of teasers that will be going out in the next few days. But we're quite excited about that.
Awesome. And as I was just about to say, money comes and goes, but Star Wars is forever. So spend that cash while you can.
You can't take it with you when you go.
Indeed.
You can't take the collectibles either, but
Yeah. But you have the last laugh on whoever gets your collectibles because them. So it's good. They can remind them of you every day. Which may be funny, maybe a bit sad actually to put it that way.
Okay. What collectible, what thing would you be buried with? What Star Wars item would you take with you to the afterlife, the great beyond, or whatever it is you believe?
I would be buried with me lightsaber. So I've got to say, so it's what would be the Black Series lightsabers now, but at the time it was the Luke Skywalker Force FX lightsaber collectible.
Yeah.
So it's what became sort of, I think it was the Hasbro Signature series at the time. That's now obviously the Black Series. So probably that. In like one hand, I'd probably hold it like a king when I get buried with it, and then I'd probably just have. Let's have a think. Probably, I don't know why I always love it, but I've got like my 90s X-wing from when I was a child. Like I still have that on display downstairs, and so I probably just have that with us just because it's been with us since day one, I suppose. But other than that, that's probably it. To be fair,
The lightsaber's a cool one. I wonder if you could find a way to infinitely power it, so that if they ever open it back up, the lightsaber's just on.
that'd be wild, wouldn't it?
That would be.
Imagine people like walk past it and you could like hear. Well, I suppose 6 feet under maybe you wouldn't be able to hear it, but
Maybe you wouldn't
imagine you
hear
could
it,
hear on certain nights, the hum of it.
just humming away.
That'd be pretty intense. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else Star Wars related you want to talk about, Ben?
No, I don't think so. No, I suppose like it's I read James's open letter this evening on Jedi News just about sort of Star Wars fandom in general, and I think when new stuff comes out, Star Wars is a menu, and you don't have to eat it all. Just enjoy what you enjoy. Don't eat what you don't like, and leave it at that. And that's okay. And everyone's entitled to enjoy it or not enjoy it the way they kind of want. So
Yeah,
I'm always grateful that there's new content coming out. My biggest enjoyment about watching things is seeing new things for the first time. I think we may have touched last time I was on with you guys, but if I could have a superpower, it would be to forget films so I could rewatch them anew each time. That would be incredible because there's nothing beats sort of seeing new things and not knowing what's going to happen. As much as I enjoy rewatching things, seeing stuff for the new time is, seeing stuff for the first time is such a cool thing. So I'm super grateful that there's so much content out there.
yeah. I mean, I remember reading James' open letter about fandom and sort of, what it made me think of is like for some reason this, and I would hate to have to think this way, but like it's almost if the next 30 minutes of Star Wars has to be the best 30 minutes of Star Wars ever, otherwise it's not good enough. It's similar. I think of it like watching football. Things are a bit better for me now up at Newcastle, but like, but you'll still go to a game and like sometimes Newcastle aren't the best that day, right? And and you come out of it and you're a bit not too happy with it, but it's alright because there's another game. Do you know what I mean? So like you take it for what it is and you move on. And I think like, so yeah, like one episode comes out and maybe it's not the best Star Wars ever, but like, don't worry, there's another one coming down the line which might be better for you. Like, do you know what I mean? I think like, but it's that sort of the fact it has to be the best. It has to be the best. Well, if that's how you think, and that's realistic, that's not going to happen, right? So you're just setting yourself up for failure, in my opinion. It's like you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'd absolutely agree. You'll never. It's a bit like when we sort of like the games we play here. If you are only playing card games for argument's sake, and you're only going to enjoy it if you win, you're going to be disappointed at least half the time, just based on the odds. And if you want every single episode of every single thing to be 5-star, award-winning, up at the Oscars, all that kind of stuff, it's not going to happen. There's going to be some stuff. Like if you go back and watch the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars as a series is amazing, but not every episode is incredible. There are some that you go, I'll skip that one. That one's not for me. That one's okay, But it's not. Yeah, it's not all going to be mind-blowingly good. It's not all going to be award-winning. So just accept it. Bigger stuff, bigger things to worry about.
Indeed. Jason, any closing thoughts from you about Star Wars and about, obviously, Dorchester Strikes Back?
There's one thing I've got to give a real big shout out. This month's Lego Star Wars magazine, which is celebrating 25 years of Lego Star Wars. And if you get the chance to, it's $6.99 this month, but there is a reason. They've got 2 versions of a Darth Vader collectible. So I've got sat in front of me a square tin with an embossed image of the Lego Darth Vader on the front. And then the second version is the basically shaped as Vader's helmet. Again, a little gift tin, and inside each of these tins is a Lego Star Wars, and it is an awesome print of Darth Vader. So you've got the figure. So if you've never had a Lego Darth Vader, this is a good chance to get one and get a really cool collectible tin. But for some reason, all I can get hold of round here is the square tin. So if anyone happens to see the Vader helmet and can turn up on Saturday with that tin for me, I will be very happy. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the event. Really looking forward to meeting lots of new people, and hopefully, lots of new people will be finding Star Balls as well. So they'll get to meet, obviously, get to find out about Pete, Kat, Ian, Chris, and all the other guys that happen to appear on the show at different times. Which, again, a bit like Jedi Archives, it's a fun little friendship group. And in the long run, we all love Star Wars.
Indeed, I could not said it better myself. Ben, as we wrap things up, where can people find the Jedi Archives online?
So you can find us online. You can find us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. The easiest way to find us is just to type as a Google Jedi Archives UK, and we should be the first result. You can find us at jediarchives.store.
Yeah, and obviously we spoke a lot about the actual physical premises, which is in Brewery Square, which is obviously where Dorchester Strikes Back is taking place this Saturday. But obviously you are online and do have an app store as well, is that right?
Yep, we've got an app, which is, in theory, the easiest way to browse and buy things, and it's the easiest way to keep up to date with stuff as well. So you'll get automatic notifications and that kind of thing, which is why we did it. So it's directly connected to our inventory system. So if there's stuff you want to know about, you can personalize your notifications, and then make sure you sort of get a little nudge when the thing that you want is available.
There you go. Download the Jedi Archives UK Store app and enjoy all of the Star Wars things. Guys, thank you very, very much for joining me. I'm very jealous that I will not be able to attend Dorchester Strikes Back next week. Just couldn't make it work in my calendar of some family events that are happening around the time frame. But yes, Dorchester Strikes Back. It's happening this Saturday, the 3rd of August, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. in Brewery Square. As I've said before, you can get up close to the Mandalorians. You can meet and get pictures with the 501st UK Garrison. Jez Allinson, the running stormtrooper, is going to be there, being interviewed. Some of the guys who run the Mercs are going to be there getting interviewed. Turn up in a Star Wars costume. Play some Star Wars card games. Enter some raffles. Have a great time. But that is all from us here at Star Wars. Listeners, thank you very much for listening. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. May the Force be with you all. And remember, always tell that to Kanja Club.